Potluck season is among us, and this can create a little bit of stress for women with PCOS because if you've been following a certain diet or if you're trying to be careful, you go to these parties and then people ask you why you're not eating the food that they brought, and it creates a level of discomfort and anxiety for us. Am I right?
Doctor said you got PCOS. Now go on, girl, just lose some weight. Till I took the symptoms into my own hands and reversed them naturally. So I became a dietitian to help my sisters feel the best they've ever felt. Take a step in my direction if you wanna prove them wrong and take control of yourself. Join a sister and a mister.
So we're navigating potluck season. What the hell does that even mean? And why does my chair have to write it when I talk? And of course, Tali's mic is not
I
facing
want
her.
you to guess what navigating potluck season means.
I mean, I think potluck means like there's a pot and then there's a bunch of stuff inside. There's it's like a raffle, and in each raffle is something you have to cook, and then you put your hand in, you pick it out, and now you have to make that, and that's a potluck.
Do you actually think
that's what I think a potluck means? What is a potluck?
A potluck means your friends, your family, you all come together, everyone brings a dish, and you have a meal together. That's a potluck.
So a potluck is like a smorgasbord of all these meals coming together.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a potluck means because there's the word luck in it, so I have to be lucky.
Honestly,
so there's a pot of lists of different meals, and you put your hand and you pick one, and that's potluck.
I think you should look up what the meaning of potluck is and where this came from, because now I'm curious. But in the meantime, sisters,
I'm going to chat GPT this right now.
Potluck season is among us, and this can create a little bit of stress for women with PCOS because, if you've been following a certain diet or if you're trying to be careful, you go to these parties and then people ask you why you're not eating the food that they brought, and it creates just a level of discomfort and anxiety for us. Am I right? Nod if you're listening. I personally, being Armenian, when we have potlucks or family dinners and I don't eat some of the traditional things that my mom makes or my mother-in-law makes, I feel bad. And then it's like kind of a thing for a second, but everyone kind of just gets used to it and realizes I'm not going to eat that has gluten and dairy. Mm-hmm. I'm gluten and dairy free, and eventually they get used to it.
Yeah, no, I get that. So I looked up what the traditional potluck, where it comes from. Mm-hmm. And it says the roots go back centuries and spans multiple cultures with origins in both communal and practical practices around shared meals. Dates back to 16th century England, first appearing. Okay, this is too much. Okay. But basically, dates back to 16th century England. It also dates back to the Native American potlatch ceremonies, practiced among indigenous people of the Pacific Northwest. Involved a ceremonial feast where families and communities shared food and wealth. And then there's, of course, the modern potluck tradition in the United States. And then there's been different cultural variations in Scandinavian culture.
All right. Thank you.
Guys. You guys are welcome to this episode of Potluck Traditions Explained.
Yes. So the holiday season is upon us. And with this, it comes a lot of potlucks, a little bit of stress with PCOS. And you're probably thinking, these holiday potlucks are going to derail my progress. Now, every time I say the word potluck, when you say a word too many times, it stops making sense.
Yeah, it's like, is this even a real word?
Anyways, in this episode, we'll explore strategies to help you navigate holiday potluck season while staying true to your PCOS goals.
Yes. And interestingly, we did a poll on Instagram stories about what you sisters were thinking about, the potluck season, about the holiday season. And we basically asked, do you feel anxious?
You're on the wrong episode script.
I'm on the wrong episode?
Yeah.
Why am I on the wrong episode?
You're on Breaking the News talking to family about PCOS.
Gosh darn it, Tali, I'm embarrassed. I should cancel this episode right now. I should restart this. Sorry, guys. We're recording 2 episodes and I was looking at the wrong episode doc. Boo-hoo, you've seen the behind the scenes now. You see how this shit show works here. All right, okay. I'm just going to let Tanya continue.
Okay, before we get into some of the challenges of potlucks and how to navigate challenges of potlucks, let's read some wins of the week.
Yes, some wins of the week. All right. Our first one of the week from a fellow sister is from Helen in the sisterhood. She says, "Hello, my win is a bit of a backwards one. I went to a buffet lunch on Saturday potluck, everyone bringing a dish. I made gluten and dairy-free pasta bake. I do admit I had a bit of chocolate with dairy in whilst there and a slice of gluten-free pizza. However, my win is going back on track afterwards. Usually I don't, and that's when I lose my streak." Oh, that's a great message, because a lot of times, when something happens, let's say throughout the week, it's a random Tuesday or Wednesday, something goes off track, and then you just feel unmotivated, and the rest of the week kind of like can get derailed as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very common thing, happens to a lot of people, and when that doesn't happen, that's a huge win, because it's showing the consistency and like your resilience getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And gluten and dairy free, we always say it's a lifestyle. Don't be so hard on yourself. No need to be so strict. Eat as much or as little as you can tolerate if you're sensitive to it.
Yeah.
So let's read the next one from Akila. She says, "The family wanted Golden Corral today. Buffet, if y'all didn't know. And I did my best to stay gluten and dairy free to the best of my knowledge. I was so proud because I started this journey 3 weeks ago. I've lost 9 pounds so far, feel so great, and have become regular, which I never thought I'd see the day. I felt especially grateful because I felt empowered to be in a space with all the goodies, but making a choice that aligns with my goals. Empowered because I've stuck to something. Empowered after feeling defeated for so long. This community, the sisterhood, and Tallene have literally changed my life. This is just the beginning." Oh, that's so amazing.
Kyla, shout out to you for that amazing message and your amazing resilience, like we were talking about earlier, and just great job. It's really good to see like her feeling like quote unquote regular again, like feeling like yourself again. So awesome.
That's amazing. And every situation, you're not going to be perfect, but when you are, when you are able to navigate a situation and stick to the diet and lifestyle swimmingly like Alika did, then it feels good. It gives you confidence for the next time.
Yes. Okay, well, let's kick us off, Tallene. Let's start with like what are the challenges of potlucks? Since I don't know what even potlucks are, please explain the common challenges.
Okay, in my experience, one of the most common challenges is food triggers. Many potluck dishes have ingredients that trigger PCOS symptoms, like refined carbs, sugary drinks, gluten, dairy, and being able to identify and avoid these triggers can be really difficult, especially if there's a potluck, like a buffet style setting, and you don't know who made this meal and what's in it. I always find that my skin starts to break out or I gain a little weight whenever it's like the holiday season, or even if I'm on a trip, my skin totally breaks out because I don't know what I'm eating. And we're eating at like a breakfast buffet at a hotel. Like they probably put milk in the scrambled eggs and I have no idea, And so this is one of the most difficult things about potlucks and buffet style like parties and meals. And we're going to give you some strategies on how to navigate this. The other challenge for me is kind of like social anxiety, the pressure when people ask you questions about like why you're not eating their food and they're so offended and like, they spent so long they made it just for you, and they start like giving you anxiety because you don't want to eat something. It's just wild. This pressure can really make you not want to go or like make you not want to eat or talk to people. It's just like navigating this is really important because you deserve to have a good time at the party.
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
And then the third challenge, portion control. This can be really difficult when you have PCOS sugar cravings and you feel like a bottomless pit, like you can just eat and keep eating. And then you see this buffet full of delicious Thanksgiving meals and it's hard to have a normal portion because you're having so much fun and you have all of these cravings. Yeah. So we're going to be able to navigate these with confidence this holiday season so you can enjoy the holidays like you deserve to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to give you some strategies like Tanya just said, starting with planning ahead. So this basically means like bringing your own dish to give you complete control over the ingredients and ensures that you won't be leaving hungry. Now, it doesn't mean that you're bringing a dish that only you can eat or that you're only allowed to eat this dish. Just like kind of think of it as like an emergency plan. Like you're bringing this dish that's perfectly PCOS friendly for you. And in case there is something there, or in case you can't eat like 99% of things there, you know that you have your own dish to fall back onto.
I usually bring this rustic kale salad And you would think like it's kale, no one's going to like
People
it,
love
but
that.
I've perfected it.
Yeah.
People look forward to it. One time I didn't bring it and someone else's husband was like, "You didn't bring it?"
Oh, yeah.
I was
Who
looking
was it?
forward to it, your cousin's husband.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, "Oh my God, someone likes my cooking."
Oh, it was
my
Harry,
kale.
right? Was it Harry?
No, it was Vahan.
Oh, okay.
And so anyways, I was so flattered. I was like, wow, he likes my kale salad. And then you feel like good about yourself. People enjoy what you brought. And then that feeling of, oh, she doesn't eat anything. Oh, she won't eat gluten and dairy. That kind of conversation dissipates because now they're focused on the delicious thing you just brought to the table.
Yes. And we post a lot. I mean, when I say we, Colleen posts a lot about her meals, especially around the holidays on our Instagram stories.
I post Sirak eating it.
Yeah. But if you're a Sisterhood member, you should definitely check out the recipe section of the app, especially when you go to like the categories. There's going to be holiday categories. We're going to be adding some new ones. There's already a lot of new ones added for the upcoming holidays, but we're going to continue to add them in the next few weeks. But you can definitely find ones like pumpkin mousse, cranberry orange sauce, cranberry apple crisp. We have an acorn squash chickpea plum salad, and a chicken and Brussels sprouts sheet pan dinner. All of these are kind of catered around the holidays. We'll be adding more, but these are some great ones to get started with if you're looking to make some holiday meals or some potluck meals for your upcoming raffle.
Okay. Now, the next strategy we've got up our sleeve is to ask questions. If you're worried about whether something has gluten or dairy and you're gluten and dairy sensitive, or, there's something, maybe you don't eat eggs, whatever it is, sometimes it's awkward to ask what's in this to the person who made it. Because then they feel like they're being interrogated, or they feel like they've made something that you can't eat.
They think it doesn't taste good, maybe.
Yeah.
What's in this?
Oh, yeah. Or they feel like you can't eat what they made, and then they feel bad, and they're like, I don't know. So let's just skip over all of that stress. Okay. One way I like to ask is, without sounding negative, is just say, "This looks fabulous. What's the recipe?"
Oh,
that's it.
Sneaky telling.
Just skip the anxiety. Okay. Don't freak out. Don't be like, "What's in this?" Just say, "What's the recipe? I love this. Looks fabulous." And, they'll probably be delighted to tell you like how they made it all afternoon. They were so excited to bring it to the table, put a little on your plate, eat a bite, maybe don't, whatever. At least they're flattered and just walk away. And also, don't be afraid to ask the host of the potluck what is going to be brought or what they're making, what the main dish is, because usually the host makes the main dish. And if they're your friend, they're going to be happy to explain like what they're going to make and kind of accommodate your dietary restrictions. So ask the questions. Don't worry.
100%.
All right. The next strategy is going into the potluck with the mindset of today is not the only day you can eat all of these foods.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, something that gets really difficult is seeing all of these delicious favorite foods on the table, feeling like you want to eat them all because today is the day that you cheat.
Or today is the only day you can eat these foods.
Exactly.
It feels like you're giving your permission on this one day, so you just kind of like may feel like you just want to eat everything.
Yeah.
But that restriction is the problem. It could be a problem. If you remove that restriction and feel like you can eat all these things anytime you want in moderation, or when you make time for it, that's the mindset that's going to help you not like feel like you're going to overconsume.
Yeah, exactly. You can also get a Tupperware and you can have the stuff that you didn't have that night as leftovers tomorrow. Like it's not going to disappear. It's okay if you have pumpkin pie tonight and then apple pie tomorrow. You don't have to force yourself to eat both today because it's Thanksgiving and this is the only day you can eat it. No.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just enjoy yourself. And if you feel overwhelmed, like you can't control your cravings because you ate a lot, maybe your blood sugar went up, bring your Ovasitol, just put the little packet in your purse, bring it to dinner.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Exactly. So what happens when you feel like your symptoms are triggered? So for example, maybe you had a little bit of gluten and now you feel bloated, or you feel like you ate too much and you feel like down on yourself. In these cases, you really have to remind yourself that this happens. It doesn't mean that just because in this one meal or this one evening that you
ruined everything.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you ruined
Yeah.
everything. You no need to stress about it and increase your cortisol levels even more. Some things you can do after this is go on a stroll or walk after dinner, after the potluck dinner, because that's going to help improve your insulin sensitivity. It's going to help bring down the bloating. It's going to help you feel more energy and kind of give you like a little bit of a relief. And speaking of like an immediate relief, quote unquote immediate relief, something you can have after this like dinner is Ovasitol. Like we mentioned earlier, this is going to really help you with your cravings and help you feel fuller and not help you feel like you like stuffed yourself, if you know what I'm saying.
It'll help balance your blood sugar after a big meal, because after a big meal, your blood sugar goes up, your insulin levels go up, and then you almost feel like you can't stop eating. And that's why, like, if you've had a whole dinner and then you still want dessert, how do you have room for dessert? Well, it's because your blood sugar is high, your insulin's high, and it creates a roller coaster. So Ovasitol can be really helpful in these situations.
Yeah, like reminding yourself that like after these meals, your blood sugar is basically like super high. And then if it comes crashing down, that's when you feel sluggish and feel like cravings again.
Yeah.
So Ovasitol is going to help with that.
Exactly. Now, don't be afraid. You know, Thanksgiving, you enjoy that. You enjoy that week, that day, whatever you want. It's the holidays. Like PCOS is a lifelong condition, and you shouldn't have to have anxiety during a time of year where everyone's enjoying each other's presence, enjoying each other's food, enjoying each other's company. The best thing to do is learn how to navigate it, and that's what this episode is all about. And you can start over, you can set a new goal and start from square one later. Like, don't worry about sticking to everything perfectly throughout this holiday season. You can still take your supplements and enjoy Thanksgiving and say, you know what, I managed my PCOS today to the best of my abilities. And that's good enough, So take that pressure off yourself. This podcast is about giving you the confidence to navigate the holiday season.
Yes. Love that. And remember that there's always a next day, or whenever you're ready, you can always get back to the consistency or what you were doing before. You can literally start all over again with just a PCOS-friendly breakfast in the morning to help your hormones regulate again, taking your supplements, drinking your spearmint tea, doing a slow way to work out the next day. All of these things help you build back that habit to restart it if you feel like, you have to start all over again. Even though that's not the case, even though you don't have to start quote unquote all over again.
Continuing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really all you're doing.
It's like that saying, you take one step back, but 2 steps forwards.
Yeah,
I know sometimes they say the other way around, but it's really like with PCOS, that's what happens a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like we wish you're just taking like many steps at once.
Yeah.
But the truth is like, just like with a lot of other conditions, like you take 2 steps back and then you take 1 step back, but that 1 step back feels so painful because you're working so hard.
Yeah.
But then again, you take another 2 steps forward. So that's just kind of unfortunately the flow of PCOS, and we wish it was much easier.
Yeah. And to be honest, like, it's never as bad as you think. Like, just because you enjoyed the holidays, or maybe you ate too much, maybe you didn't follow your PCOS rules, whatever, it's really not that bad. Okay. Like Sirak said, you can start over the next week or the next day or whenever you're ready and get back into your habits. And, frankly, in like a few days, you'll start feeling better. It's really not as bad as you think. Sometimes we create a very like doom and gloom mindset about it, and we get really down on ourselves and feel like a failure. It's really not that serious. It's just life. That's all.
Yeah. And remember that the main reason for potlucks is to enjoy your time with one another, even if it feels like the focus is all on the food. So remember to not be hyper fixated on what to eat. That, it can make you become anxious, feel restricted, make you feel less social. Just focus on having a good time with your family, with your friends, and just, focus on what
creating memories.
Yeah, creating memories. And basically what we talked about today on today's episode.
With that being said, sisters, we hope you enjoy the holiday season and enjoy all the delicious foods. Bring something delicious to the table.
Yes.
And we'll always be here supporting you.
Yes. And for all our Sisterhood members, if you're looking for holiday inspiration for meals, just go to the recipe tab and you're going to see a lot of fun holiday meals coming up for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for all those holidays.
Yes. Talk soon. Bye.
Take care.
Word of mouth is our absolute best friend here at PCOS Weight Loss. So if there's someone that you think might enjoy this podcast, go ahead and share it with them.
And if you don't mind, go ahead and rate and review the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the podcast.
It really helps more than you think. Thank you so much for listening and being part of the Sisterhood community. Talk to you next time.